about this week's American Horror Story. Let me know if you are here, if you can see and hear me. I had some issues last week, so I want to make sure that everyone sees me before I start really getting into the episode. Looks like I'm live now. If you are here, let me know. I did not have time to set this chat up before now, so I didn't have time. Usually I set it up like hours beforehand. Maybe I'll do that again next week, but I literally just got home. I have so many thoughts about this episode. Oh, I need to put this in the title. It was season 5, episode 6. I needed to change that. So anyway, I do not see anyone in the room. I can just see this becoming a meme. Lately, I've been becoming all kinds of memes. So I'm kind of thinking that this is not working because I don't have anyone in the room, and that is really bizarre. So let me click out of this and come back because I feel like it might not be working. So strange. I have no idea. That is really weird though. Really, really weird. I don't know why this is not working. Oh wait, Thomas is here. Okay. This is for sure becoming some kind of meme, I'm sure. So I'm sorry I wasn't able to set this up before, like a couple minutes before. Usually I set it up like hours before so people know that I'm going to be doing this, and I wasn't able to do that. But thank you for being here, Thomas. I still feel like there's like some kind of issue with this chat because I just see one person in the room, and usually there's like tons and tons and tons. So I'll wait just a little bit longer to see if more people show up. But anyway, I really, really love this episode. I just thought it was absolutely everything, absolutely perfect. They just really outdid themselves with this episode. So I'm going to go over on Twitter and see if I can ask if people can see me because I do not know. You can see me. Okay. Okay. Hi, T-Coke. Thank you so much for being here. So I guess it's working, but people just didn't know if I was going to be live today. And I see there's like something going on with my hair, which that's not good. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Anyway, what did you guys think about the episode? Hi, Anna. Yay. Hi, Namia. Thank you so much for being here. I can't fix my hair. Hold on. There's like this big, I see it, but it's like in delayed. And I'm trying, oh, here's the mirror. Okay, I see like this big, like, poofed up spot. Okay, I think I fixed it. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Sorry, this has just been like all over the place. Let's get into the episode. Hi, Christian. Thanks for being here. Thomas says it was absolutely amazing. Okay, so I really loved it, and I didn't know exactly where we were going to go with this episode, but it was cool because I feel like we finally got a lot of resolution for Murder House, even though it wasn't something that I knew that we needed. But so many things were wrapped up. Like, we are totally wrapped up with Murder House. Like, everything was resolved, and there were happy endings and special moments. And honestly, this feels so much to me like this is a final season. I can't even believe that we're going to have more seasons after this. I feel like they've just tried so hard with every episode. And I said in my title last week that last week was the best episode ever, but honestly, I think this one was better. It was just so, so, so good. Hi, Leo. Hi, Ingrid. Hi, Mr. Crazy. Hi, Luke. Hi, DJ. Hi, Aline. So we just had this wonderful moment with Maura and her mom. That was just so special. We got like a lot of background info about Constance and her children. We saw Michael at one point being really emotional. And first of all, like, Cody Fern is just incredible. He has just done such an amazing job. He is amazing. And then we had a happy ending with Tate and Violet, and it was so good. And it wasn't like, well, there was one, like the sacrifice scene was pretty gory and everything, but for the most part it was just like really special and a really great episode, and it wasn't like based on fear and like who can they rip apart and stuff like that. But they did have to include some of that, and they did with the sacrifice scene, which was pretty crazy. Dadson says it was so surreal seeing the house again. It was so heartwarming to see everything get resolved after 7 whole years. Absolutely. And being able to go back to the house and watch just pretty much kind of like relive, you know, Murder House. I realize that that really is my favorite season of all time. It just felt, it's something that like we never get to do, you know, most of the time when you have a show you love and when you have a season you love, we never get to go back. We never get to see what could have been or what happened after that show ended. And it felt like we just went back to like an old show and resolved it. You know, I never in a million years thought that we would have more Murder House stuff going on. And I'm so glad that they gave us that opportunity. Oh, DJ, yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's so good. Christian says Sarah did a great, amazing job at directing the episode. She did. Oh my God, she did. It was so good. Yes, there's a lot of memes about me going around. Hi, Corey. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but a lot of people are taking these chats, or some person, probably one of you guys, because obviously someone who watches keeps taking bits and pieces from the live chats and making memes, and then I get DMs on Instagram and they're like, oh, you're in a meme. And I was in a meme like a couple weeks ago from one chat, and then last week, one of my last week's chats ended up being like 60,000 memes on different people's Twitters and Instagrams. So pretty funny. Mr. Crazy said, you need answers because we know they don't stop Michael because he's alive after the bombs and he was responsible for the apocalypse. Yes, I believe so, unless all of that we're seeing is like, I hope it's not like a dream or like something that someone's imagining. We know the apocalypse probably doesn't happen because of the timeline of Hotel. So I don't really feel like the world ends. So I don't know with what we're seeing is that just people think there was an apocalypse and there really wasn't, and those people are tricking, like Michael and everyone's tricking them, or if it's like some kind of, someone's envisioning this or dreaming this. I'm not really sure. Yeah, we finally saw the other, are you talking about the little girl, the little like beauty queen girl? Datsun says Mallory reversed time on the dead deer. Maybe she can fix the timeline. Yes, so I'm sure that we are going to avoid whatever happens to the apocalypse. It either didn't happen or it doesn't stick, or it was a trick or whatever, because we know based on Hotel being beyond the time that the apocalypse supposedly happened, that the world didn't end. So, but we also got the confirmation, even though I don't know if anyone really needed confirmation at this point, but we got the confirmation that Michael is the Antichrist, and he was pretty creepy, like, okay, so the sacrifice scene was just a lot, like a lot. And when he took a bite of the heart, that was a lot. Hi, Ralph. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, so we saw like the beauty queen child or whatever with the missing eyes, which was pretty creepy. But I was really wondering why Jamie, who I think she even mentioned, Constance even mentioned that one of her kids wasn't there. Like, why isn't that one of her children, the girl, the actress who has Down syndrome? I was wondering why she wasn't on. Like, I can't imagine why she wouldn't be a part of Murder House. I don't know. So T. Colk says maybe it is someone's hell, like their version of hell, which I think is a really good theory, because definitely could be. Definitely. Jason, thank you so much for being here. Dennis says you think that the apocalypse is Coco's vision because her power is to sense danger, and you think that the title, The End, has two meanings. I think that's really cool, and that's a really good idea. Datsun says the apocalypse is really close to modern day, so unless every season after this is set in the past, they have to reverse the apocalypse. That's a really great point, too, and I really hope that every season after this isn't like in the past, because you guys know how I feel, or you should, if you've watched me for a while, and that, I don't really like stuff that's like set way in the past. So a lot of people are talking about Addison or Addie. She didn't die in the house. She got knocked down in the street. That's right. But at the same time, I guess she couldn't be back then. I was going to say, like, at the same time, why didn't they have her on? But they couldn't have her on because she didn't die in the house. Therefore, she couldn't be a ghost. Okay. Thanks, guys. I was just like, wow, why didn't they want to have her back on? Okay. That's right. That's totally right. And thank you guys so much for that. Someone is saying, hold on, let me go scroll back up. Elaine says, the actor who plays Michael, who is Cody Fern, he's so, so good. He's excellent, and I really hope that Cody appears in future American Horror Stories, and I think that's probably going to happen. And he's just, I talked about him a little bit earlier, but I think he's phenomenal. Like, he has done a great job, but like all of the episodes, but I felt like this week's episode was really a standout for him. Like, really phenomenal, fantastic. Ralph says you liked how everything was explained, even though how weird it fit. yeah, I feel like, I just thought it was a great episode, and it was just great to get insight on a season. And I said this a little bit earlier, but I know a lot of people weren't here, but it's so great to get an insight on a season, which when we watched it and before we knew there was going to be this crossover, like I never dreamed we would get more information, more things dedicated to Murder House, and that just makes me so, so, so happy. Luke is asking if Apocalypse is now likely to be my favorite season. Oh, that's a good question because I really love it. Although, I was thinking that Election and Roanoke were really, really good. And I was like, I can't decide, like, what's my favorite because I really love Coven too. But now that we revisited Murder House, which I always said was, like, one of my favorites, I feel like it can't be topped. Like, I feel like it's still so special, such a special season, that it will always be my favorite no matter what they come up with, just because, I don't know, it's kind of like a sentimental thing. I just think it was great. They also tried to take some of the blame off of Tate for the bad things that he did. I thought it was interesting because they were like, well, I think it was Emma Roberts Madison was saying basically Michael's evil spirit was, kind of like encouraging him or making him do bad things, and maybe at heart he's not a really bad person, which he probably isn't, but I thought that was interesting to kind of excuse him of the bad things that he had done. So Luke is saying that Jessica will be back for another episode this season, which is awesome. She had a very big role in this one. Ralph says, we now know that Murder House is the entrance to hell because they said so. Yes, so basically those creepy Satan people who came looking for Michael, said that. I thought there were also some funny moments in the episode. One of those being when the Satanist came to get Michael, and he walked down the stairs like a teenager who had just woken up or something, and he was like, what? Who are you? What is this? They were basically coming for the Antichrist, and they knew he was super special, to them. And he was just like, what are you guys doing here? So funny. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, Ian says, may I use the bathroom, please? I mean, if we're going to have an Antichrist, we need to have one with good grammar, right? Because I don't want an Antichrist walking around who has poor grammar. That is my main complaint with Michael. His grammar is not always that great. Everything else about him is amazing, but the grammar. Jason says they wanted a Tate Violet happily ever after. They did, and they got it, and honestly, I was happy with that. But you know what's interesting? I was looking for an image for this chat, and I just, I haven't read any of the articles about this episode, but I saw someone wrote an article, from a website or a magazine or whatever, and they said that they were really mad that they gave a high school mass murderer a happy ending and that he didn't deserve it. That was the title basically, and I didn't read the article, so I don't know what it said. But I think that that's okay because they did at least try to offer an explanation for that when Madison said that he was being influenced by Michael to do bad things. I don't feel awful about that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, so I thought that Hotel, I have not seen Hotel, so forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but I feel like one of the chats we had, someone said the year in Hotel was past the year of the apocalypse, but if I'm wrong, let me know. So I don't know. Dadson says, considering the murder house is on the top of the portal to hell, you think we'll probably end up going to the house again before the end of the season. I really hope so. And I was wondering about Connie Britton. I knew she was going to be in this episode, and at first we just saw the scene of her giving birth and dying or whatever, and I was like, well, I am hoping we see more of her. Seriously, did she just come in for one little scene? I was like, are you kidding me? And so thankfully the show ran long, and she had quite a bit at the end. Datson says, you would be mad if they gave Tate a happy ending if they didn't explain that the bad stuff wasn't really his fault. I think that's great. I think that's totally fine. And I think that they did the right thing, and they made a point to say, look, he wasn't really crazy. He was made to go crazy. He really wouldn't have done that on his own. And, right, if they hadn't said it, it would have been kind of really weird. Drew says, I hope, oh gosh, these comments are going by so fast. I lost their comment. I'm so sorry, but just comment again. Alexandra says, one question. If Billy Dean Howard told Constance, and I think you commented this on my channel, but I haven't had a chance to reply to that. If Billy Dean Howard told Constance about the Antichrist in season 1, wouldn't Constance have kept that in mind considering Michael, especially since she asked Billie Dean Howard herself. So are you saying basically, like, shouldn't she have realized earlier on that he was the Antichrist instead of, like, a serial killer? I don't know. I really love the backstory of Michael, and I thought it was awesome. And I also like how they said that really and truly Tate is not the dad of Michael, that it's just, like, the evil spirits in the house. Gregory says Tate's behavior in Murder House does make sense with the explanation that he was influenced. Yes, I totally agree. And I always liked Tate a lot. And I'm not excusing the school scene. And I've talked about that in chats recently. And that was just one of the most terrifying things I've seen in a show probably ever. Oh, I didn't even catch that, but Anna's saying that the actress who plays Pepper was one of the Satanist people, and I was like, who is that person? She looks so familiar, and that is who it is. Okay, that makes so much sense. Thank you. So Ralph says Madison finally did the right thing helping Maura and Violet and Tate. She did. But I think she kept making the point of, like, you know, I'm having a second chance at life and I want to do things right. And I also thought it was interesting because I think she still dates Evan Peters, or she did. I don't know. But just, like, her history with Evan. And she was, like, really trying so hard to help him be with Violet. Was just kind of funny to me. I mean, obviously, her character doesn't care about Tate. I think those characters dated in Coven, though. But anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. And I also felt like, I was like, gosh, you know, it doesn't seem that long since Murder House was on, but I feel like Evan has changed a lot and has aged, not like gotten old looking, but like when they try to make him look younger with like his haircut and stuff, I was like, man, he doesn't really look like Tate used to. And I didn't even pay attention to that until we saw him like in the Tate costume. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Ian says, do I think Freak Show or Cult would be mentioned or referenced in this season? Definitely a possibility. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we brought up all of the seasons. And I also, when I was looking for a thumbnail, or, you know, for a thumbnail for this video, I saw something about how Roanoke is going to be tied in to this season. And again, I didn't read that article either because I was in a hurry. So Michelle says, you love how Madison has turned good. She is your fave. Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised. You know, we don't always get like nice, heartwarming things in American Horror Story. And, you know, just the Maura scene was just so great. And the ending to this episode with Violet and Tate was so good. And I just think, wow. I mean, I know Ryan is super talented, but he sometimes has a tendency to not try after a show has been on for a long time. And he and everyone else with this show has just really killed it so much. I just am so amazed at how much work has been put into this season. And that's why I feel like, gosh, it feels like the last season. And I don't think it is. And I don't think anyone has said that, but like officially. But I don't know. So Alexis says, you think Michael is not pure evil. You think he's possessed by the darkness or the real devil. Well, I feel pretty certain he's the Antichrist, but he did have some moments of good. You saw him with, what's his name, Dylan McDermott, and he was kind of sweet, and you kind of liked him, and he was kind of likable. But all of that kind of went away when we saw him bite into the heart, and I was like, no. Hi, Curie Q. Thank you so much for being here. Stars Rain says the murder house brings out the worst in everyone, and it brought out the best in Madison. You know what? That is a really good point. I like that. I don't know if that means anything about her as a person, but you know, I like that. Jason says this show has been renewed for seasons 9 and 10, so I thought we were still continuing. But honestly, guys, can we get better than this, than going back and connecting seasons? Like, can we? Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for being here. I know. I feel like I keep thinking like this. You know, I know Alexa's like I said that Ryan couldn't top season 7. This 7's bad. This season. Wait, what season? Oh, you mean episode? I don't know what we're talking about here. Hold on a second. We are in season 8, and I have the wrong title for my video. Yes. You're right. I probably did say season 7 was amazing because I love season 7. And now here we are. And I think season 8 is better. But I still can't put anything above Murder House because I love it so much. But this probably, honestly, is the best episode ever. If I say that again next week, just like remind me. I don't know what... Can it get better than this episode? Can any episode of American Horror Story get better than this? I'm a little bit worried, honestly, because I'm worried next season is going to be like a huge letdown. I don't know. I feel like, wow, especially with everything that they're doing in this season, connecting all the seasons, and it just feels like it's the end and everything. What? I can't. I'm going to be so sad if next season is like thrown together or no one cares or something. I'm hoping that's not the case. Andy says the scene with Maura meeting her mother was beautiful. Yes, it was. It was just wonderful. I loved it. I loved it. And I loved the ending. Ian Slasher is supposed to come out later this month. I don't know the date. If anyone knows, let me know because I can't wait to watch that. Niece says Michael didn't seem so evil in this episode. He felt really guilty about Constance and he was hurt when Tate rejected him. Yeah. So he's got some human moments in him. You know, he's not, well, but I will say that they also made the point to say he kind of, when he realized, I don't know, he kind of started going more toward the dark side. I mean, he was already on the dark side, like killing people and animals and stuff. But I think that, I don't know. I think it would be hard to say he is a good person at this point in his life, but he did have some redeeming qualities. Gregory says, did I see the promo for episode 7? Someone says at the end you can hear Nan's giggle, and since Papa Legba is back, might she be too? DJ, you are so kind. My goodness, thank you so much. Are you in Canada? I didn't even realize you were in Canada, but that was very nice, and you did not have to do that, but thank you. Very sweet. Thank you so much. Jason with the comment about Cody and the rubber suit, right? Funny. That's funny. Michelle says this was your favorite episode of the series. Giving Murder House a happy ending was awesome. It was. Oh, hi, Amy is listening and driving. Yes, good. Be careful. Don't stare at the phone. I don't want to cause you to wreck. Okay, so many comments. Please comment again if I missed your comment, because I've missed a lot of comments. I just don't know what to say. Like, I don't have words to describe how good this episode was. I can try, but I could never accurately give the words. It's really everything I could ever have wanted from an episode. There were funny moments. There were very sweet sentimental moments. There were gory, scary moments. It really had everything that this show is about and should be about. And, it's perfect. Really perfect. Christian says he had some good things before he became the Antichrist. Like, that's a good compliment to give someone. Like, you know what? Before you became the Antichrist, you were kind of okay. You were kind of nice. You know, that's funny. Yeah, Harvey's talking about Tate's wig, right? So I just feel like that was the biggest stretch for me, like watching, seeing Evan be Tate. And I guess he's just got, he just looks so different. He didn't look like Tate with the hair. I don't know if it was just a bad hair. I don't know. Alexa says, you're scared and worried. You mean what's going to happen in season 9 and 10? I know. I mean, like, personally, why didn't we save this?
I don't know that one.
Oh, my Alexa's talking. I'm sorry. Why didn't we save this for season 10? Actually, she just told me she didn't know the answer either. She's like, I don't know that one. Yes, Thomas, I did notice the music from the previous seasons. And for one, I think near the very end, there was a song that I swear was like from Murder House or something. Megan says, or Megan, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, says you missed what Tate said to Michael when he found the rubber suit. Does anybody know what he told them? I know he wasn't happy about it. No, I don't remember what that was either. How will the season end? I don't know. I think the apocalypse never happened, first of all. So that's going to be part of the ending. I think basically everything's going to be good and okay with the world. And honestly, I think anyone who's died is not going to be dead. I think it's going to kind of have a happy ending. But, oh my God, I'm glad that I do not work to write this show, because I can't even imagine, like, sitting around in a room trying to figure out, season 9 and be like, how can we do something that's even half as good as this, you know? Jason says, you think Billie Dean's comment about the Montgomerys was more or less a confirmation of her relation to Nora and what's-his-face? Wait, who is what's-his-face? Mr. Crazy says you don't know why Michael entered the academy, like he didn't know anything when he was pretty much in control of his powers on Murder House. Is that a plot hole? So, okay, that's a good question. So do you think he was just pretending to not be as powerful as he was, or what's up with that? What do you guys think? Harvey's saying it's annoying that Adina Porter has only been in one episode, but she's in the theme credits where Taissa isn't. Well, Adina is going to be, like, big in the next episode according to the promo. But, yeah, I don't know. She's really barely been in this season, and I don't know why Taissa isn't in the theme credits. So now we're saying that they're going to have 11 episodes. Thank you. I hope that's true because I'm actually not going to be here when episode 10 airs, and I was really scared that that was the finale. So I hope that's true. Leo says, what about the girl and the guy from the beginning? Right, so we haven't come back to those two. They were just like in like, what, 2 episodes? I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know if we should care. I feel like they should tie back in somehow, but I think it's really bizarre how they've disappeared. Niece says you hope the special DNA kids are someone involved at the end. Right, here we are talking about them again. Right, I feel like they have to bring them back around because they're like brand new characters, plus they are both brand new to the show. We've never seen either one of those people acting. Emily and Timothy, I've forgotten their names, thank you. They've never even acted in the show, been a part of the show, and I don't know what we were doing with them, but it has to have some importance. We can't have just thrown them in there for no reason. And definitely Joan Collins is coming back, which we all knew she was coming back, but Amy's asking, like, is she with the witches or what's her deal? She has to be a new character because her grandma character has totally died, so I wasn't really sure, but it definitely looked like, I felt like she was, like, a witch of some sort, and that's how they're bringing her back, but again, she would be like a totally different character. Ralph says Michael was aware of his telekinesis, but not his other powers till he got to the academy. So I wouldn't, but he knew that he could like kill all these people and stuff, right? Who is Amazon Eve? I always get told I remind people of people, and then I'm like, okay, I hope that's a nice thing. It's like, you remind me of SpongeBob. No, I'm just joking. Mr. Z TV says, sending love from Malaysia. Oh, so awesome. I want to go to Malaysia. I've been to Thailand, but that's the only place I've been to in Asia, and I really loved it. And it's 5 a.m. I hope you're up for work or something or school, and you're not. Hopefully you've been to bed, or maybe you're still up. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. Curie says Michael plays down his powers. The clue is when the warlock comes for him, he kills the police officer when the warlock isn't watching. That's kind of what I was thinking, because remember, that was a pretty cool scene where the guy was like, I'll drop him down, he'll be fine, like, when we leave, and Michael, like, broke his neck or whatever. Oh, the tall lady from Freak Show? I'm starting to get concerned now. I haven't seen Freak Show, and I haven't seen Hotel. You're like, oh, yeah, the one that has 4 heads. Andy says, who do I think is the rubber man after the apocalypse? I was thinking about that last night. Do you think it's Michael? I mean, I know, whoever Evan Peters' character thought it was Michael. And, well, the other question is, so Tate was the rubber man in the murder house before Michael was born, and then Michael was rubber man. So who is, that's a good question. Who is rubber man in Apocalypse? Okay. Solomon says, which episode do I like more, the Warlock introduction or episode 6? This one, for sure. This is the best episode of the season, even though last week's was very good. Okay, Jason, thank you. Okay, thank you. Gregory says, I wonder if we will have more flashbacks until episode 9, since rumors say the Apocalypse characters from the first few episodes will be back then. Well, maybe. I don't know. I just don't know how I know we're going to come back around to the Apocalypse and to those characters and to, like, Timothy and Emily and all those people, but I don't know. Christian says, you think last night we confirmed that it was Michael. You mean he was dressed up as the rubber man? That is what I was thinking after last night. Ian says, do I think Cordelia will die in this season? And my answer is, I hope not. I really, really like her. I don't think so. I think it'll have a happy ending. I don't think we'll lose her. Ralph says the rubber man in the bunker is more than likely just a body in the suit and of no importance. But do you really think that? Because it has been an important character before. Like, it was Tate, which was very important in Murder House, and it was Michael after he grew up, you know? I also thought it was funny that he was like 10 years old and he became, or whatever, however old he was, he aged like 10 years overnight. I thought that was super funny. Amy says, remember they showed Rubber Man on the ceiling and Michael was showing off on ceiling. That's what I took it to mean after last night, after seeing Michael in the Rubber Man suit, that Michael was a Rubber Man in Asylum. Now, I don't know. Nee says, you hope, oh, it disappeared. Okay. Jason says, with Adina back next week, you figured next week was the present, but who knows? So Adina was, she's alive. Well, she was brought back after the apocalypse. But then again, we also saw Joan Collins, who I guess just is a new character, right? So she's not her old character who died. Kind of confusing. Mr. Crazy said, they said Jessica Lange will be back for another episode, but playing what character? Fiona or the one on Freak Show? Does anyone know that? Because I don't have the answer for that one. And Stars says, you wish Marie Laveau was back this season. Food is My Friend says Papa Legba will be back next episode and they have Jessica Lange back to the show. So do I think Fiona could come back to possibly help defeat Michael? That would be badass. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Basically, what's his name? Dylan McDermott is going to go back to try to do something with Michael, right? He's going to try to stop him or whatever. Ralph says Rubber Man has a body to control the suit until it possesses whoever wears it, and that person becomes the body in the suit. Yeah, that's true, but I mean, I feel like it's kind of throwaway if, like, they wanted to put him in the apocalypse scenes in the bunker, but don't you think he's probably somebody we know instead of just, like, a random? Gregory says, you think people say that Cordelia won't be supreme by the end of the season because the supreme thing will be somewhat destroyed, like changing a country from a monarchy to a republic. That's really interesting because that way we don't have to lose a supreme to gain a new supreme, and that would, establish her as a person who can live and not have to die away because there's a new supreme. Harvey says, so Adina is Queenie, Mallory is Misty Day, and Coco is just Coco. Is that what they're trying to say? That's kind of what has been talked about at the beginning. JMG says, you think next week will be our last flashback episode, putting everything together, then episode 8 and 9 build up to the finale and how they're actually going to stop Michael. I think that is very likely. Absolutely. Alexandra says, you love the part where Michael was trying to be really good, even though it was very short. I did too. You felt for him. Cody Fern is really fantastic as Michael Langdon, and everyone involved did a great job. Absolutely agree. And I think for someone who we've never seen in the show before to be clearly the lead, the main star of this season, and to be absolutely amazing, I just think, wow, because you have to think, like, when you step into a show like this that is so successful and you've never been on it, and like a lot of people are recurring characters and you're told like you're going to be the main character, you're carrying the show basically. You know, I know there's fan favorites and everything, but he's a huge focus in the show, you know, this season. I think that would just be like so much pressure. I can't even imagine. And he has just been amazing. And I seriously hope he sticks around for the rest of our seasons of this show because I'm just blown away. Like, he showed such a range of emotion in this episode where he was, you know, scared and crying and like really like when his grandmother died, he was literally so upset and you felt sorry for him, right? Even though he's like a terrible person, like he's literally the Antichrist, but yet in the same episode, he's like eating a heart and looks like the most evil person ever. And it was funny, I thought, because the little boy who played him was like such a cute doll, like cute kid. And he was literally killing people. He like killed a priest and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, he's so adorable. And he's a killer. So Ralph says Cody Fern was good in his episode on American Crime Story season 2. I'm not familiar. I've never seen him do anything. And I know he's not like a brand new person or, you know, he's not like an unknown, but he has really impressed me. Food is My Friend says, you wonder why Zoe and Queenie didn't travel with Cordelia, Myrtle, and Madison to go. I know, to go defeat the Antichrist. I don't know. Confused with that too. Alexa says the scene with Constance and the roses was funny. Yeah, she was like, I've always liked the smell of roses, but now I can't stand them in the whole yard with roses. This episode, literally, oh my God, like I have zero criticism for it. And I have really zero criticism for this whole season. And I'm really hoping that it keeps going good. I hope that we don't have any issues. Bacillus Alex says, did I talk about Constance's fourth child, which was the little girl? We did a little bit earlier. I think we had never seen her before, but she was mentioned in season 1. Ralph says, glad they explained the age jump for Michael. Yes, and I think some people have been asking different questions about his age, and I always replied with, when you are like the devil's child, you can do things that real people can't, and that's kind of how I thought that this would be worked out. Like, it never made sense for Tate to have this kid in whatever year, I forgot what year, 07 or whatever. There would be no way he would be 20 or however old he's supposed to be on the show. I think he's like 30 in real life, but he looks very young. I mean, when he was being like in the teenage scenes, he definitely looked like a teenager, you know? So it's just explained with like, well, you're the freaking devil's kid, so overnight you can age 10 years. And it was funny because he was like in a little child bed and his feet were like hanging over it. So Constance's children are the ones that basically, didn't she like kill all of them in the house? So therefore they became like residents of the house. There was that one really creepy one that played with the red ball that we saw a lot of. And then there was this cute little girl, but she didn't have any eyes. And then she had Addison, who died outside the house, which you guys reminded me. Okay, he was born in 2011. Michael was born in 2011, so obviously in 2018 he wasn't going to be the age that we're seeing him as. Oh, thank you, Mr. Crazy. I appreciate it. That's really sweet. Yes, my rants against Pretty Little Liars. Those should be made into memes, honestly. Alex says the finale of season 1 says she has 4 children, but they didn't put that scene in the episode. Oh. So I felt like we knew she had this daughter. We didn't even know that? Like, why did that not seem weird to me last night? I didn't even know that. Food, as my friend says, 1 or 2 days earlier before episode 6 was released, people have been spotting Jessica Lange filming at the murder house, possibly the finale of the show. Somebody else mentioned she's going to be in another episode, so I hope so. And my other question is, do you think she'll ever come back and be on the show full time, like for a full season, or no? Or did she say she wouldn't? Ralph says Tate was killed by cops in the house. Yes, I remember that. Apparently, we never saw that little girl. Can't remember her name. But, okay, so we knew she had a 4th child, but we didn't know it was a girl. Okay. But it was cool to see her, right? And did we know what happened to her and, like, why she doesn't have eyes? So, Jared says Jessica is confirmed for the finale, and so is the murder house. Ooh, that is so great. I love it. And Aline says, we knew about the girl. Constance mentioned she has 4 children when she introduces herself to Vivian. That's what I thought. So when I saw the child last night, I wasn't like, where did she come from? But at the same time, I didn't think I'd seen her before. And again, I don't know much about, like, what's up with her or what happened to her. JMG says the FBI killed Tate after the shooting, and she killed her other 2 children that were deformed, and Addie died in a car accident outside the house. So was this little girl born without eyes? It was very bizarre. It was like almost like someone had like blacked out her eyes or something. Star says, why would they make Tate and Flashback Michael look alike if they weren't related? Okay, well, I would say the answer to that is probably technically Tate fathered Michael. But again, they're trying to like let Tate off the hook by saying a lot of things he did that were evil were not really him. So even though he did that act that created Michael, this is how I took it, he didn't do it willingly. And so it's more like it's the devil's kid, which, well, it is the devil's kid. Is that how you guys took it? Like, I feel like maybe Tate is like the actual dad, but not really. Yes and no, like technically. Niece doesn't know what, we don't know what happened to the kid with the missing eyes or whatever. I don't know. Christian says she came back because in some way she loved Constance. I think you're talking about the little kid. Right. Well, again, if you don't want to be seen, like, basically Constance didn't want Michael to see her anymore, and that really upset him. So if her daughter hated her, I guess, she wouldn't be able to be seen. I don't know. So Alexa says Mrs. Mead is literally everywhere, and she's so scary. So you guys...
Sorry, I'm not sure.
It's Alexa. My Alexa's talking again. So you guys know, if you know anything about Kathy Bates, is she's just incredible. She's so talented, and she has been acting for a really, really long time. And it's a real treat for, like, American Horror Story to have her, because she's a very accomplished actor, and she's great. And she's really, really, really good this season, but she's so good, and she's usually creepy and crazy in everything she does, but she's doing a really great job once again, but I wouldn't expect anything less. JMG thinks this season will probably end with Michael being trapped as a spirit in the murder house. Oh, I like that a lot. Or they'll help with sending him back to hell. Also a really good thought, because with it being the portal to hell, I think we should probably just send him back to his dad and all that. And I also think that it would be cool if we get to see Michael again in the last season of American Horror Story. I hope he comes back. I think he's a very cool character, even though he's a terrible person. But since he's been connected to the very start of the show and he's part of season 1, I think we should have him as part of the final season in some way. Niece says, you hope your theory about Emily and Timothy being connected to Asylum is right, because it would be perfect. I'm really hoping so, because it seems like they want to try to connect a lot of the seasons. I mean, I'm not really hoping so just because it's my theory, but I'm just hoping that there's a point to Emily and Timothy, and I think there probably is. I hope it's worthwhile, though, because we've not even seen them in so long. Star says that Billie Dean Howard was very shady in this episode. For someone who feared the Antichrist so much in season 1, she wasn't very helpful. She's funny, and I also think it's funny to have Sarah playing so many different versions of herself. I mean, not herself, but of all her different characters. Like, she's really having to be really versatile with, bringing out, like, all the different people. And I really love seeing her in those different roles, because they all, even though I know it's Sarah, it's like, they all seem very different for me. She does a really good job of being different people and being, like, it's just, you don't think, oh my God, that's Sarah Paulson once again. You think, oh, that's Billie Dean, or oh, that's Cordelia. And I think that's, like, when an actress or an actor can play multiple roles, kind of like Tatiana Maslany, when you can play a bunch of different roles, like in Orphan Black, and you don't even see them as that person, but you see them as you don't see them as the real actors, but you start believing they're those people in those roles, then that's like a super talented person. Because I know I would have trouble just pretending to be one different person, but I couldn't imagine being like 5 in one show or something. I really probably like Cordelia the best too. Chase, I agree. Gregory says in the promo, it's clear that Ariel had the other warlock do some deadly magic. Is it me, or does it look like Ariel tricked his colleagues and the other warlock doesn't know what he'll use it for? Well, definitely. I can definitely see that happening. Yes, I watched all of Orphan Black. I think that was such a great show, and I'm sad that it's gone. And I think Tatiana is like one of the most talented people in the whole world. And I don't know what she's doing now, but she's so great. And I'm hoping one day she'll have like an amazing show or something that I can watch again, because I miss her. I think I'm going to wrap this up, but I really love this episode. Thank you so much for being here, and let me know if you are the person who keeps putting me into memes. I find it very funny, and I really like it, so I'm not offended at all. I just think it's hilarious, but I feel like it's someone who watches a lot of these or whatever, because it's like, it keeps happening, so it's funny to me. I keep doing it, whatever. I don't care. I really like it, but I'm just curious, like, who is turning me into memes? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at my YouTube. It's Kelly TV. I've linked to some of the memes, but apparently they're on Twitter. I can't keep up with them. There's a bunch on Twitter, too, so people keep tagging me in those, but I'm out there in a lot of different memes, and they're very funny, and I'm not doing them. I don't know who is doing them, but it's so funny. Madison was sweet, yes. Thank you, Ian, and thank you, Andy. But I hope you guys are having a great day. Oh, no, Alexa, it's okay. I don't mind. I should try, turn her off before I start. I always forget. I hope you're having a great day. And for those of you who watch How to Get Away with Murder, I will see you guys tomorrow at this time. And I love this episode, and I love this season. I'm just so happy to share that with you guys and talk to you guys about it. So, bye, guys.